Okay, so we have a couple of things going on here. They are asking us to find the measure of angle 8. So for convenience, what I would like to do real quick is I want to change our expressions here and identify them by numbers. All right, so we have 1, so we'll make this angle 2, 3, 4, and this one angle 5. That's just going to help with terminology and identifying some of these parts. All right, so the next thing we need to recognize is that these little red flags on our lines, they are telling us that we have parallel lines. And since we have parallel lines that are being cut by a transversal, that's the transversal, we have some special relationships that are going on with our angles. All right, so for starters, let's just talk about angle 8, the one they're wanting us to find. All right, so angle 8 is actually going to be a vertical angle to angle 5. Okay, whoops, lost my 0, my O. All right, so angle 8 is vertical to angle 5. If we move down to our other expression that's given, we can also say the same thing, that angle 2 is vertical to angle 3. All right, so how this is going to help us is that now what we can say is that, okay, well, if angle 8 is vertical to angle 5 and angle 2 is vertical to angle 3, then we can actually determine that angle 8 is then congruent to angle 5, means they have the exact same measure, and the same thing for angle 2 and angle 3. They are also congruent. So that's going to be a key to helping us to be able to solve these types of problems. All right, so with that, if angle 2 is here and we know it's congruent to angle 3, then that means that angle 3 is also equal to a negative 5x plus 10. So now that brings in a new relationship that we need to take into consideration. So we have angle 5 and angle 3 are now on the same side of our transversal, yet inside our two parallel lines. And those types of angles are what we know as consecutive interior angles. Sometimes you will actually see them written out or called same side interior. And what we know about consecutive interior angles of parallel lines are supplementary. And the key on that is that we have to have the parallel lines cut by a transversal in order for this to be true. Okay, so it must be that we have parallel lines being cut by a transversal. Otherwise, the property does not stand up. Supplementary, of course, means that added together, the sum is going to be equal to 180 degrees. All right, so that's going to be our key to being able to solve this expression. So that tells us that angle 5 plus angle 3, being consecutive interior angles, are going to be equal to 180 degrees when we add them together. Now we can put our expressions in there. So we have 7x plus 200 plus angle 3, negative 5x plus 10 equal to 180. All right, so 7x minus the 5x, and then we get 210 equal to the 180. So 180 now minus the 210. And it's really okay with the get more math type problems if we end up with numbers that are negative. Quite often when we do, it's typically okay. They have the expressions that work out, so everything works out positively, so it's good. All right, dividing by 2. And we get that x is equal to a negative 15. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and plug things into our expressions, all right? Because for this one, again, they want the measurement of angle 8. So let's go ahead and plug that in up here. Let me actually move the screen just a slight bit. All right, so again, x is equal to a negative 15. So if we take the 7x plus 200, that would be 7 times a negative 15 plus 200. All right, so it's 100 and, oh, it helps to actually plug in their numbers correctly. So it's 7 times negative 15. There we go. Ooh, I had typed in the wrong thing. All right, so that comes out to be 95 degrees. All right, so keeping that in mind, now angle 5, again, going back to our vertical angles, if angle 5 is 95 degrees, then angle 8 is also 95 degrees. Okay, and if we were looking for angles 1 or 4 or anything like that, we would then just go to the negative 5 times the negative 15 plus 10. So 85. Oops, that's 85. And we can also go on around, and angle 2 again is going to be 85. If you added 95 and 85 together, you would get 180. We could also recognize that angle 3 and angle 6 are congruent as well. And of course, 6 and 7 are vertical. We can also go ahead and use linear pair or corresponding angles, alternate interior, alternate exterior. So alternate interior angles would be angle 5 and angle 4. And of course, we could look at either alternate exteriors or, again, vertical angles to find angle 1. So by finding the measurement of one angle, you should be able to find all of the angles involved.